What's going on, everybody? This is Philip California Underground. I want to hop on here and discuss the recall a little bit and recall strategy and what's going on, and maybe clarify some questions that people may have or some misconceptions about what's happening with the recall, and answer the question, are there too many Republicans jumping into the recall race right now? So let me get started with describing what a recall really is and how it's different than a general election. So in 2018, we had a general election. In California, you have what is called a jungle primary. Now, in that case, a jungle primary is where you have the top two vote getters in the field go on to run for that seat, as opposed to in a lot of other states where you have just a normal primary where it's the Democrats versus the Republicans. So basically, you're always going to get a Democrat and you're always going to get a Republican. Here in California, however, it's not the case. You can get two Democrats, and in fact, that happens quite a lot. But in 2018, I would say probably based on the fact that you got the endorsement from President Trump, John Cox was able to get on the ballot and face off against Gavin Newsom. And in that race, yeah, it did make a difference to have one person that everybody was going to get behind because we were able to push him over the top and get him onto the ballot. Now, I didn't actually vote for him in the primary, but that's a whole different story. But that's a general election, and this is a recall election. So what the difference is between a recall and a general is you have to think about it in a different sense. I get a lot of people who are asking me questions about, well, there's too many Republicans jumping in, with Kevin Kiley jumping in, now we're going to split the vote, and Noodles is going to win. And I want you to first get that out of your head, this idea that it's going to be Noodles versus one person or another. That's not really how a recall works. So get that out of your head. Just forget about that whole idea that it's Noodles versus one person or another. Really what it is Noodles versus one question. Now I have the sample ballot from 2003 up on the screen so you can see. And you can see right there it says, shall Gray Davis be recalled, removed from the office of governor? This is a two-part election. So what happens is you go to the first question, and if enough people vote yes, it has to be 51%, then we move on to the second question, which is who should replace or succeed Gray Davis as the governor of California? And they will serve out the rest of his term, which is only a year, but hey, it's better than nothing, I guess. It just gets Noodles out of office. So think about it completely different and put this out of your head, this idea that, oh, there's too many Republicans, we're going to split the vote, Noodles is going to win. That's not really how the strategy is going in a recall. It's really Noodles versus this one singular question. Should he be recalled? Now, if a prominent Democrat were to jump in, like an Antonio Villaraigosa, that may shake things up a little bit. I've said this before. He may be able to pull some Democratic support. And think about it this way. Now, you have all these different factions and group of supporters who support different candidates. How do they get to actually vote for that candidate for governor? Well, they have to vote yes on the first question. So don't think of it as too many people are splitting votes. Think of it that every single candidate who's jumping into the race may actually be increasing the amount of people who are going to vote yes. So you're actually bringing more people to the table. For example, you have Kiley supporters and Jenner supporters and Faulconer supporters and Trimino supporters. What's the one thing they all have in common? The one thing they all have in common is they want to vote yes on the recall. So that's really the numbers game, is you're getting more and more people to get into the race and get more and more supporters who want to vote to recall. So if you were someone who's been sitting on the sidelines and said, I don't really think any of these people are really that great, and maybe someone like a Kevin Kiley has come along and you like Kevin Kiley and you want to vote for Kevin Kiley as governor, great. You've now gotten off the sideline and now have gotten behind the push to vote for yes on the recall. So think about that way, that actually maybe more Republicans and more candidates bringing in their supporters, bringing in more people who are going to vote yes, is actually a good thing. It's not splitting the vote, because when it comes to who is going to replace Noodles, it comes down to a plurality of the vote. So it doesn't have to be 51%. It's just whoever gets the most votes. But you can only get that chance to vote for that person if you vote yes. So that's the commonality that we all have. And that's really where everybody is getting behind this recall question of yes. So think about it that way, and don't think about like we're splitting the vote if more and more people jump in. It really just comes down to how many people are going to vote yes on the recall. And if a Kevin Kiley brings in a couple thousand more people to vote yes on the recall because they want to vote for him for governor, that's great. That's great for everybody. Because once you get past that first question, it becomes the Wild West of whoever's going to be governor. So I want to make this quick video and just kind of clarify that for some people who kept asking me like, oh, we need to get behind one person. We need to, rally behind one person. There's too many people. We're going to split the vote. I wouldn't worry about that. The one singularity is that we're all getting behind these candidates and we all have the same commonality that we want to vote yes on the recall. And if that means more people are bringing those people in, that's great and that's good news. So with that, I hope that helps kind of clarify some of your questions and kind of looking forward what's going to happen in September and maybe the strategy of what's happening during a recall. And if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment for the algorithm. That always helps. Share this with other people who you think might find this really helpful. And thanks for tuning in. I will see you on the next one.